Welcome to the 10-Minute Car Sales Talk Podcast, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is, here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron.
Welcome back. I'm Terry Cameron. Before we get started today, I want to remind you to hop on over to iTunes, give me those 5 stars and write a review. Don't forget to share this episode. Check me out on Facebook, LinkedIn, or email me at the number 10-minute sales talk at hot.rr.com. Hey guys, I'm going to try something different today. I'm going to do this episode without any notes. I'm going to wing it. So if you hear a lot of ahs and uhs and pauses and stutters, I want to apologize. But I want to speak from the heart here, and hopefully it comes out properly. Forgive me if it doesn't sound as good as it was meant to be. But this is unedited and real. So let's go ahead and get started. Today I want to talk a little bit about what we call the Green Pea Slump, the career ender if we're not careful. I can't tell you how many times over the past 25 or 30 years or so that I hired a real hotshot. Now I'm in a military town, and I get a lot of really disciplined people that are exiting the military that are looking for a second career. And some of these hotshots were sergeant majors, captains, majors, and colonels in the military, and they came into the career with their guns ablaze, and they hit it off right off the bat. I had some of these salespeople selling 20 cars their first month, 20 cars their second month, 16 their third month. And 6 or 7 months down the road, they're out of the business. And of course, they blamed it on the business. But what really happened to them is they got their dealer's license. They figured it out. They got too smart. They figured out exactly what they had to do, or they figured out exactly what they didn't have to do. And that cost them sales, and they couldn't figure it out. Hence, the Green Pea Slump. There's a process to selling cars, just like there is any other career. And the minute you cut a corner and shortcut, you've changed that process. A little bit down the road, you cut another corner, and then another corner, and then another corner. And that's your new process, and it doesn't work. If it did work, we would all be doing it. So green peas, and I'm talking anybody that's in the business, probably 6 months or less. It doesn't take long to learn the process and the steps to the sale. It takes a little bit longer to learn how to be a professional at this job, but it doesn't take long to learn the process. By the same token, it doesn't take long for you to figure out a new way to do things. That's where we lose it. And as managers, sometimes we cause that. We're in such a hurry to get our sales force firing on all pistons that we rush them through it. We're pushing the number, and we're pushing the number again without giving the guidance to that green pea so they can reach that number. As far as I'm concerned, a brand new salesperson can sell 6 cars the first month. I'm fine with that. I have to help them sell 7 or 8 the next month, 9 or 10 the month after that, and so on and so forth. But if we're not giving them enough attention, if we don't care, if we're not coaching, we help that green pea slump last even longer. Chances are, if we're not doing it, if we're not taking care of our salespeople during this time, they're not going to be in the business very long at all. So there's some things that we can do, but we just have to be able to monitor them. Now, salespeople, what you have to do is buy into what your manager's saying. There's a method to the madness. And as you move on in your career, it'll start to make a little bit more sense. But you also find that you're going to be more successful when you do exactly what you're told. As soon as you start figuring things out, at least thinking that you figure things out, you start going a different direction. It doesn't make sense. Why would they teach you one way just for you to do it another way? They want you to be successful. And as far as I know, the more sales you make, the more money your management makes. So they're asking you to do something because they know it works. Again, managers, you need to coach. You need to be looking out for those signs to the Green Pea Slump. It's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. It's going to happen. Our job is to make sure that learning span or that slump is as short as possible. And if we are able to even explain it to our salespeople how it happened, That makes it even easier. You see, when they get into this slump, all they can think about is selling another car. They don't need anybody ragging on them anymore. They need to sell a car. And when they get into that mode, they rush through the process. They have to sell the car. Sometimes they get lucky, and they do. But for the most part, it doesn't happen the way they want it to happen. We have to keep an eye on that and show them that the best thing to do when they get into that slump is slow down. That's all you have to do is slow down. Make sure you're touching all the bases. When you do that, you'll come out of the slump quicker and with those good habits still instilled in you. If you do it the other way, you come out, even if you do come out quicker, you're bringing some bad habits with you. Something that happened to work once, but it's not something that's going to be very consistent. So this Green Pea Slump could be a career ender if we're not watching it. And hey, I know it's hard to find and hire good people. And if we go through all that trouble to get them, we need to go through even more trouble to keep them. Let's face it, some of them just can't do it. It's not for everybody. But we at least got to give them the opportunity to get good. That's our responsibility. Now, for sales managers, I also know that there's a lot on our table. We've got more things to think about nowadays. You know, you would think that the computer age would have helped us out. All it did was give us more things to do. Multitasking isn't necessarily a good thing. All that means is you're able to do several things mediocre instead of one or two things really good. If you work for me, I'll take the one or two things really good. We'll worry about that other stuff when we get a chance. I want you to look at your salespeople. You should grade them all the time. You need to spend some time with them privately at least once a week. It's a headache, but it's going to be worth it in the long run. What I like to think about is being a farmer. I want to go out there and plant those seeds. And eventually those seeds are going to grow and they're going to take care of me and my dealership. It's not all about numbers all of the time. When I came into the car business, I remember how hard it was for me. I had a manager that spent some time with me and had some confidence in me. I believed what he said and I did what he said. I had my Green Pea Slump, but I came out of it quicker than most because I stayed true to the process. And it's not because I wanted to stay true to that process. It was because it was enforced. I was required to stay true to that process and do the right thing. The Green Pea Slump is killing our business because we're losing some really good people before they get the chance to shine. Some of them are just right around the corner to blooming, to becoming your 10 or 12, 15 car salesperson. We don't give them enough attention and they're gone before they get a chance to achieve that level. So what I would like everybody to do is slow down a little bit. Take a look at everybody on your sales team. They all have issues. We have issues. Let's not worry about that stuff. Let's find out what they're doing that they could be doing better, and let's spend some time on that. You need to know your salespeople's closing percentages. You need to know their appointments and their show ratios. You need to know their presentation and demonstration ratios. And when you can do this, you can pinpoint where they're weak, and you can help them through that slump. As a matter of fact, if you do it and you're on your game every day, that slump never happens. I once had a salesperson tell me that he's slow when he wants to be slow. And if you really think about it, those high-performing salespeople, they're selling the same amount of cars regardless if the business is slow or not. So help your team out, help your dealer out, and help those people that you have the opportunity to change their lives out. Keep an eye out for that Green Pea Slump. Help them get through it, and your dealership and you are going to be much better for it. So once again, please hop on over to iTunes and give me that 5-star review. I'd like some feedback also if you can. And please share this podcast with your friends. Remember, the sky's the limit. I'll see you next week.